but the beautiful part is the journey, because you're on a constant path of learning and being the best version of yourself, and you're always improving. And I think that every artist, is on their way of for reaching perfection. And maybe perfection doesn't exist, but at least you are trying to do your best and to have that special thing that makes an audience say, oh, I know this recording, it's that pianist or it's that violinist. So it's something that is yours and that no one else can take from you.
Miruna, so great to meet you here on Zoom. Are you in Italy at the moment?
Yes, I'm in Italy. I'm in Venice right now.
In Venice, and you're studying there?
Yes, I'm studying there. I'm doing my bachelor's degree at the Venice Conservatory, and I'm studying under Maestro Igor Cognolato. I think you know him.
Yes,
and,
I also did an interview with him, and he told me about you, and I'm so grateful that I can talk to you.
Yeah, he's an amazing person, and I'm really happy that he put us in contact.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me your career and or your journey as a pianist. We have to call it a journey because I don't know what the other word is.
It's a journey.
So what age did you start playing the piano?
So I started when I was 5, and then when I turned 14, I realized that I wanted to do it in a more professional manner, so to say. And so I started a music high school, and there I met my piano professor that I basically owe everything to, because she took me in a moment of my life in which I had a certain level, and she just saw that potential that I had, and she took it to the maximum. And so I'm really grateful for her, because I owe her everything, my preparation, my evolution in those 4 years that I did in high school with her. And then the fact that she prepared me for the admission exam to come to Venice and to work with Maestro Igor Cognolato, that I'm very happy to be working with. And it was a really beautiful journey until now, and I'm sure that it will continue to be a beautiful journey. And
tell me, initially when you started playing the piano, what was it about the piano that attracted you? The instrument itself.
Story. The story is that my mother wanted us, her kids, to be playing the piano because she didn't have this opportunity when she was a child. She was born in other times with other possibilities. So she has promised herself that when she would have children, they would play the piano, but just as a passion. So no one thought from my family that someone would actually earn a living from playing the piano. And so I have an older sister that also played the piano, and then she stopped. And then I started playing it when I was 5. I had a professor at home. It was just a hobby, just something to develop my way of thinking, to develop me for my future, for my life. And then it just attracted me so much. And during the years, I started feeling so in love with the things that I was doing, and I just wanted to give more and to learn more. And so this is how I basically turned just a passion into a way of living.
And were you always motivated to practice?
When I was little, not so much, to be honest, because it wasn't a priority. It was just something that I was doing, and I was happy to be doing. But it wasn't something, when you are little, you just have a lot going on and you are trying a bit of everything just to find your way. And during the years, I realized that it was the only thing that actually made me happy, because I couldn't imagine myself doing something else. At least when I turned 13, 14, then I started high school, I realized that it's the only thing that actually makes me happy about my life and about my choice as a job and as a future.
And it's so lovely that you talk about the teacher who saw the potential in you, because a lot of artists say that, that there was that one person, either a parent or a teacher or somebody who saw their potential and then helped them on their journey.
Yeah, exactly. And I really am so grateful to her. Her name is Mihaela Zampirescu, and she was the head department of the piano department at my music high school in Bucharest, because that's the place where I studied. I was born in Bucharest, studied in Bucharest, and then moved to Venice. So basically, this is my story until now. And she took me in a point of my life in which I had a lot to learn, and I had a lot to be to grow. Because the thing with us musicians is that there are a lot of good musicians, and everyone has a story to tell. And so you basically just need to find the thing that makes you special and get it to the maximum, because that's what makes you unique, that's what makes you interesting for an audience, and that's what makes people happy. That's why they pay a ticket and come see you and are happy about the things that you are doing. So it's really great what she did with me. And not only with me, the thing that I was actually talking with some of my friends some days ago is that, looking at all of her students during high school, she took everyone in a different point of their life, and she saw that potential in everyone that is different, because someone might be more expressive, someone might be more emotional, someone might have some tension, and she just has her ways in finding the method with which she can work with you and make you understand and love music for all of your life. Yeah.
This is so wonderful, because how important role she has to do that with you, because she nurtures the artist in you, and that is the most important thing. And like you say, with all the students, she saw their uniqueness as an artist, and she could develop that. Yeah. That's wonderful. Somebody like her, she should be.
Yes, it's special, and I'm so grateful. There are just those encounters in our lifetimes, and you just know that they were meant to be. You just know that you got to them, and you crossed paths because it just had to be like that, and you just had to encounter that person to learn and to pass some beautiful moments together, because you have to.
And also, it's exactly like you said, the sort of the competition between musicians is huge, and pianists as well. And you each you are all talented, but to find that one specific thing that's your uniqueness at a young age, I think is so important that you understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important. And the thing that I'm trying to think about is that we shouldn't be so competitive, but rather try to just find our ways without trying to compare ourselves constantly with the others. Of course, you can have idols. I also have my idols and pianists that I look up to, and pianists that I consider literal gods that almost touched the sky with one finger in their attempt to touch perfection, because that's what you do as an artist, not only as a musician, but in any field that you are in. That's what you are trying to do, either if you're a photographer or a sculptor or an artist or a musician. And the thing is that I'm really, really happy that I have some friends in my life that I know I don't have to confront, to compare myself to, and that we are just trying to grow together. We are just trying to talk about music, because someone might know something more than you know, and so they are trying to teach you something. So it's basically an exchange between us, not a competition.
Yeah, and I think it's sometimes you hear also musicians coming together and collaborating, or like you say, sharing things, and learning from each other and taking something from each other, and that's so wonderful, that you're able to do that.
I mean, it's amazing that we can also do chamber music and orchestra and choir, because in all of these groups you meet people on a constant in every day. And so meeting people and realizing that you're not alone and that everyone is trying to bring beauty into the world with the music that they're doing. So it's so important, and it's so beautiful that you find people that understand you, because that's the first thing to be growing, to have someone that actually understands the thing that you're doing. That's why for musicians, for example, the best thing is to have another musician maybe playing another instrument so that you can share things together. And it's so important to be collaborating and to know that we are all doing this together. It's not that everyone is on their path and that's all. And I am really happy because slowly I'm actually meeting some friends that I'm doing four hands with, or a trio with violin and cello and piano. So different types of groups that are really beautiful, because we can play together, we can have a beautiful relationship, we can learn from each other. So it's essential. Yeah.
And also with every artist, like you say, they strive for perfection, or they strive to do it the best that they possibly can. Yeah. But then there has to be that enjoyment, because for the audience, you feel that energy when the pianist or the musician enjoy what they're doing, and then you feel it as an audience member as well.
Yeah. And I think it's essential that in this lifetime, we might say that we are trying to reach that type of perfection that we are aiming for, and we never do. But the beautiful part is the journey, because you are on a constant path of learning and being the best version of yourself, and you're always improving. And I think that every artist, is on their way for reaching perfection. And maybe perfection doesn't exist, but at least you are trying to do your best and to have that special thing that makes an audience say, oh, I know this recording, it's that pianist or it's that violinist. So it's something that is yours and that no one else can take from you.
So as a pianist, and you when you practice, you're always alone. Do you find that difficult, or is that something that you're very comfortable with, being on your own, practicing, being a long time on your own?
It's a really beautiful journey. And then for a pianist, especially, the repertoire is so big. You have so many options. And what I love doing now, and I am sure that I will be doing this for some years, is trying to discover also hidden gems and hidden treasures that are there. You just have to look, and you just have to do a bit of research. And then you discover this beauty that maybe has been hidden from the world because it didn't have that much visibility during the years. So, of course, as every pianist and as every musician, you need to have a certain repertoire, the basis, so to say. You need to have something that you can grow from. But then, it's such a beautiful job, because you're on the constant a path of trying to see beautiful things and new composers also, or concerts that people don't play that often. So this is something that I'm trying to do, and that I just did in November with a project that I'm very happy about. So it's so essential for a musician to find that something that they can bring to the audience, and to bring something new also.
But tell me about the project that you did in November.
So in November, it was a project that I worked for a year. So it's not an idea that just came up. Basically, in a conversation with my dad, that is really in love with music. He's not a musician, but he lives like one, because he listens to music on a daily basis. He does a lot of research. He's a very cultured person. And in a conversation with him at my home, he told me that he read this article on Google, that there was this French pianist, Jeanne-Marie Darré, that played all of the 5 concertos by Saint-Saëns, the piano concertos, in one night when she was 21. And this thing happened in the 1930s. And at that moment, I had just played the 5th concerto by Saint-Saëns, which is the Egyptian concerto, and it's a really, really unique piece of music, and the second one, which is the most famous one. But when you think about it, if there's a second concerto and a 5th one, it means that there are other 3 concertos that no one plays. And it's the truth, because no one plays them. You don't really see them played on in philharmonics or during a year. You look on the programs of different philharmonics in Europe or in the world, and you don't really see them played. But that they exist. And so I started my own research, and I listened to them. I listened to the first, the third, and the fourth that I had never heard of before, because my dad had a really big role in this project, because he opened my eyes and my path to this beautiful research. And I realized that it's such a beautiful music, and what a shame that people don't play it more, because some concerts are more appreciated because they had more visibility during the years, but some others remain hidden because of different reasons. We don't know why, but they just remain like that. And so he told me, wouldn't it be great to be repeating this event after approximately 100 years, and to do it again and to see what comes after? So basically what we did on the 22nd of November, 2025, is play all of the 5 concertos by Camille Saint-Saëns in one night. And it was a really, really big thing. It was the greatest project that I have done until now. So I'm very happy about how it turned out. And it was a project that I really put all of my heart into, not only with my physical and mental and the pianistic preparation, but also with all of the concept, because I worked with the people that organized it, on the lights, on the programs that were distributed to the people, because I also love writing, and I believe that it's so essential to be culturing and educating the audience as a musician. Because I always say that in the audience, there are people that know music, either musicians or critics or professors, or people that didn't have this opportunity to be knowing this type of music since they were little, but maybe they would want to know it. So basically what I did was write a letter to the public, or a cultural manifest, as I wanted to call it, in which I explained from the beginning to the end what this project means, what I want to achieve through it, what I want people to think about it after it finishes, and what I wanted to say through these 5 concertos and these complete piano concertos that I wanted to present at the age of 20. Because there's also the other aspect that the French pianist that played them 100 years ago, so to say, Mrs. Darré, she was 21 years old when she played it. And so I just turned 20 in November, and I wanted to repeat it and to basically do something in her memory at the same age that she did it, especially because in those times she couldn't have it documented, so we have no actual recording from that night. What we do have is a recording of her concertos done during her lifetime, but we don't have a recording from that evening. But what we did was have a recording of all the evening that we want to post and that we want to present to a wider audience.
But that's so wonderful, and that at such a young age that she did it, but even younger that you did it, because you're 20 now, so that you did 20. The whole thing. And I love how you wrote to the public, because this is something that I also feel. I'm not musically educated, and sometimes when I speak to artists also, or they speak about a specific composer or a specific work, it opens up that world for you you know, that you otherwise wouldn't have known about. And it makes you inquisitive to go and find out. And you also listen to the music differently if you have that background. So I always love when musicians do that, or any art, you know, even in ballet, if you know more about the background of the piece or why it's written, even, you know, it makes it so much more enjoyable if you do that.
Yeah, I think it's so important, you know, to be understanding the thing that is happening in front of your eyes. Because I love talking to the audience after a concert, and I have either friends that know music or they don't. And the thing is that with the people that know music, they already know what to expect. They know how to follow the music because they have their ear trained. They dedicate all of their life into that thing. So basically, it's their natural habitat. It's not something foreign or something that makes them triggered or intrigued or anything. But with the people that don't know music, not because they don't want to, but just because they didn't have the opportunity, because I talked to a lot of people after the concerts, and many people tell me that, you know, Miruna, I really wanted to play the piano when I was little, but my parents didn't give me this opportunity. Or I lived in a poorer area, and so I couldn't have a piano professor. Or I wanted to play the flute, but I didn't have the support from a foundation. So I don't know, this type of cases. And so you say, you know, what a shame, but it doesn't have to end there. You don't have to say, okay, you couldn't do it when you were little, so you can't do it in your lifetime. You can always educate yourself. You just need that openness, and you just need that you need that thing that makes you want to learn things, and that curiosity, because it's a curiosity in the end to want to know a bit of everything, and especially of this type of music.
Yes, and I also think that, you know, a lot of the time we talk about audiences that diminishes, or, you know, that people don't go to the concerts anymore. But I sometimes also think it doesn't have to do with, you know, some people say, oh, but it's about dressing up, and people don't want to dress up anymore. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about what you're saying. It's about understanding where you're going to, or what the music is about. And I think also that connection when talking to the audience, that already makes a big connection, because then you feel part of it. You know, you feel part of the concert. And I think that for an audience is so important.
Yeah. And I tell you, I found that, you know, trying to be a promoter of music and to try to educate people is so beautiful, because then people, you know, people after they read my letter dedicated to them, they told me, you know, I really didn't know these things. And so after I read them, I knew how to follow the music and what to see. And, you know, I told them the order of the concerts, when he composed them, because it took him a lifetime to compose them. The first concert by Saint-Saëns, for example, he composed it when he was 23, so a bit older than I am in this moment of my life, for example. But the fifth concert, so the last one, he composed it when he was 60 or 62, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a big thing. And, you know, think about the lifetime of a composer or of an artist, a writer. You see them in different stages of their life, because they were also humans like us. They also felt, they also had the beautiful or sad moments. They had the moments that described their way of writing and their way of living, their perception of life. And so it's, you know, it's so beautiful, and I'm so happy that I did this. And now my idea is to be doing this for my future concerts, and to just grow more and try to find my way of writing and playing at the same time. So basically do a combination of these two beautiful things that make me happy.
I think that's wonderful, and that would be great if you do that. And like you say, younger audience members, you know, to understand that, and also to understand that whole path of the composer, that it didn't happen just instantly, because I think sometimes we forget we live in a world where things happen so instantly, that we forget that time, you know, you need time for things, and some things just have to develop in that way. And like you say, the things the composer went through also is part of the character of the music that he wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
And also for you, it's must be also inspirational to think, okay, you're 20 years old, but you still have this lifetime of developing, of finding new ways, of finding yourself, finding also different things about yourself as an artist.
Yeah, I think that, you know, for every musician, what's really, really important to, you know, to arrive to that point that everyone wants to arrive to is being a really cultured person and being open to a lot of things. I think this is essential because, you know, for a musician, you really need to know a bit of everything. And not because only of the intellectual aspect, but because it really helps you into the music that you're making. Because every composer that we are playing, every composer that we are looking on a score and we are analyzing things, because, you know, every day you get deeper and deeper into the things that you are doing, and you realize that all of them were so cultured, and they were, you know, they knew everything that was happening in their times. You know, I have a professor at my university that says, what's the best way to know someone? You look at their library, you look at their books, you look at their cultural, you know, their beautiful things that have something to do with culture in their house. Like, you look if they have some CDs or what music they are listening to, if they go to the theater or to the ballet. So this type of things, because it's essential and it's the best way to understand someone's mind and to go deeper into the things, because that's what I'm trying to do every day. And this is what I'm trying to do with my life right now. I'm reading constantly. I'm writing sometimes. I'm trying to learn more languages, and I'm just trying to be a very cultured person and to understand this, that only in this way I will understand better the music that I am affronting and the composers that I am in love with, because they were amazing and they left us this cultural legacy. Yeah.
But so you talked about this project that you did, but there's a lot of organization behind that as well. So are you good with that as well? So can you, because you had to organize the whole concert with the orchestra, everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. Of course, I had a lot of people involved, and so I'm very grateful to everyone. I had a very big support from Maestro Russell McGregor. I think that you know him.
Yes,
he's in Vienna too, and he's a lovely person, and he helped me a lot with my mental preparation, with my state of being, how I felt during this preparation, how I felt during these rehearsals, because it was a really big effort, and an effort that I never, you know, I never lived such a big thing in my life, because I basically only did this for a year. I did some competitions and some other repertoire, some other pieces, because I had to for university and I wanted to learn more repertoire and bigger one. But this project meant that I had to, you know, to know these concerts by memory and put them in my memory every day. So all 5 of them, 330 pages or something like that. Wow. Of music. And you need to know your part and the orchestra's parts, and when you come and when you enter. And it was a really big work. Then the orchestra too, for them playing 5 concerts in a night, 3 hours of music with 5-minute breaks between every concert. It's such a big effort. And so I was so grateful to them. I talked to them after and also before. I told them that I'm very open, and if they have any question or any complaints, they can come to me and we can talk about it. And they were so nice. You know, it was such a beautiful thing working with them, and also with Maestro McGregor, that was so nice to everyone. And he made sure that everyone felt comfortable and everyone was happy about how things were going, and he was open to changes and to make beautiful music together, and it was like that. And also the audience reacting in a very beautiful way. It was the first time that I had a standing ovation, and I came back for more times on the stage. And so it was something very fulfilling for an artist. But what I also try to say to the audience through my letter is that I didn't do this for myself, to receive compliments and these things. I did it for the history of music, and to do to make an event that is documented after, because they want to document it after, and they want to post the video, and they want to educate the audience. And we want to keep on presenting these concerts, because this was just one step, trying to set a new record, so to say, and to make the complete piano concertos in one night. But now what I will try to be doing in my future is to continue on playing them, and not only these concerts, but also other concerts that are hidden and that people don't play that much, because there are those famous pieces and some more hidden ones. And it's such a beautiful work to say, I found this, and it's my research, and now I'm trying to bring it to the audience and to educate people.
And it's true, if you play it more and the audience hear it more, then you always also get familiar with it the way you do with other pieces as well.
And then
so
there's
that's
a familiar
great. Yeah. Do you have a feeling for a specific composer, for the works of specific composers? Is there a specific genre that you really feel when you play the music, this is really what you enjoy?
I mean, what I always say, both for me and for all the other musicians, is that especially when you are young, so when you are at the start, because I'm still at the start, even if I'm 20, even if I already did some things, I still consider myself, really young and fresh, and I still have a lot to grow. And I think that keeping your modesty and your constant want of knowing more things and learning more and practicing more and more is so important, and to not stop. So as in composers, I'm trying to learn a bit of everything, because it's really important. But if I have to choose, I would say Brahms is one of my favorites, because he's he transposes the depth of the human soul, and his lifetime full of moments that he lived, full of people that he met and he loved. And he's just such a sensible person, and such a sensible person to the beauty that there is in the world, because that's what musicians do, and especially composers that we consider gods. Because to think that you can take all of the emotions that are happening into this world, and all the suffering and all the happiness and all the moments that they also lived, and transpose it into something so pure and so beautiful as music. For me, it's something that I will always look up to, and I will always admire anyone that is trying to put their sufferance and their feeling into something written that then has to bring beauty to the ear. Because as Mozart said, because now I'm studying a lot of Mozart also in university and also with my pianistic development, and Mozart always said that music always beautiful. Music shouldn't be touched by ugliness and by the ugly aspects of the world. Of course, you can transpose them, so to say, into another form, or l'esthétique du mal of Baudelaire. You can try to say that this is the ugliness of the world, but you transpose it into beauty in some way. So Mozart always said this, and he always said that his characters from his operas shouldn't have had too many feelings or too drastic ways of behaving on stage, because he said that even if you're suffering as a person and whatever happens in your life, if you're a musician and you dedicate your life to something so beautiful, you need to bring only beauty on stage and nothing more. And so this is something very important for a musician, to realize that there are two aspects of that person. Of course, the personal aspect is important because you bring your feelings and whatever you need as an interpreter into your music, but you should never suffer too much while doing so, because we never have to forget that in the end we are not playing ourselves but that composer. So I'm not playing Miruna, but I'm playing Mozart, or I'm playing Brahms, or I'm playing Schumann, and it's always written. You just have to respect what they said, and only then add your personal imprint and your personal fingerprint on the things that you are approaching. Yeah.
Wow, this is so wonderful that you have this insight and that you have this understanding at your age to know this and to understand this, what you're doing, because that is so that you are sort of the instrument for the composer to carry on the music and to
yeah. It's a really beautiful way of saying it. Exactly.
Wonderful. Oh, that's so beautiful. But I will remember this now. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, true. And we want to go and be uplifted, when we go to the theater, when we go to a concert, you want to go back and you want to go home and you want to feel really this uplifting feeling and nourishing feeling, So that's wonderful.
I mean, the example that I always give, talking about the way that music or art should be respected, because it has to be respected. It's the only way for us as a society to keep on evolving and to keep on having beauty in our lives. Because I always say, the world has already so many ugly aspects and so many ugly things that are happening. So we need to have our refugee and that place that we go into, and we know that we are secure and that everything is going well there. And that's why I always give this example, regarding modern aspects, let's say, of music, because I like going to the opera a lot, not only to symphonic concerts or to piano recitals. And so going to the opera, what you see are characters, and you see many people working on the costumes and the whole directing of the piece and of the opera. And what I usually say is that music and what these composers left us as a legacy shouldn't be touched, in my opinion. Of course, everyone can have theirs, but in my opinion, it shouldn't be touched, but by the modern and ugly aspects of the modern world. Because what I'm trying to do as a member of the audience when I go to the opera, as a person that wants to learn and that wants to feel good in those 2 or 3 hours that I dress up and I'm trying to live another life, another type of experience. What I'm trying to do is forget about the things that I see on the streets every day, and to go into the opera house or to recital, and to forget about these things and just transpose myself into another world, that inner world that should be in every single one of us. That's why it's so important to have an inner world that is rich of beauty and of knowledge, because whatever happens in the world, even if ugly things or wars or people fighting for things that really don't matter in the end, what is so important is having a spiritual life that that is yours and no one can take from you. And this there, and whenever there's something bad happening in your life, you just go there and you know that everything is okay.
Exactly. And I think that's what the theater used to be, that haven, that sort of sanctuary for people escaping from whatever they had to deal with to that. And it's, if I think of a ballet, and you think of the beautiful costumes and the decor, the whole setting, and you, when you go, it's almost as if you are transported, because there's nothing. Your eyes are the whole time. Your eyes are fixed on something, And then when you're
so
home,
overwhelmed with all the beauty that you're seeing.
Exactly. Yeah. Then when you go home, you feel so much more, uplifted and wonderful. That, I totally agree with you. You want to sit there for the 2 hours and really feel as if your soul gets nourished.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I really don't agree with the modern ways of interpreting an opera or any type of show. Because, for example, when I go to the opera, and let's take La Traviata, that everyone knows, and it's a very famous opera and it's really beautiful. I'm going there excited to see all those costumes, those dresses that the women used to wear, and those beautiful manners that we are slowly losing as a society. And that type of having a relationship between a man and a woman, and the singing and being happy and doing and having parties, because people, they were always the same. They just had different times and different ways of uh, of relating to one another. That's the only thing that has changed, because slowly, with other times and other technologies, we are basically turning into the thing that is predominant to our society. And when I'm going to the opera, I don't want to see Violetta from La Traviata in jeans, because I already see jeans and all these type of things on the street. But sadly, I saw many producers that are doing this thing. For me, I would say that it's a blasphemy, to be honest, because for me, that music is a type of religion, and it's something that I believe in so much, and it's my spiritual area and my sanctuary. I don't want to see these aspects, these ugly aspects in music that has to be beautiful. I always keep in mind these words of Mozart. I think they are essential of understanding art.
Miruna, I totally agree with you. I feel exactly the same. And I always thought I was the only one. But I went to, a few years ago, I went to see a ballet, and it was a remake of Sleeping Beauty. And I saw the original Sleeping Beauty of that the Royal Ballet put on, and the beautiful fairies and everything, and the costumes are so beautiful. Yeah. And the remake disturbed me. I felt, when I sat there, I felt really disturbed by it, and I felt uneasy. The way in the lighting and the whole setting, it just didn't do it for me, and that feeling of something, you feel uneasy. And I went home and I felt I didn't want to see this again, and I was sad that I really saw it, because I always had this picture of Royal Ballets, the Royal Ballet's performance of Sleeping Beauty, and it was always for me such a beautiful ballet. So I completely understand what you mean. You just don't want to sit there for 2 hours and be sort of,
you just want to forget about the things that are happening in your life, because what I think, as a musician, is just the most beautiful thing. Not that people clap for you at the end, but that someone comes to you with tears in their eyes, and they said, I have such a difficult period, but you made me feel, you reminded me that I'm human, because that's what we are doing as artists. We remind ourselves every day that we are human, and that it's okay to have emotions, it's okay to cry, it's okay to show things, because it's the only way that you can be sensitive to beauty and to art. Because every artist was the same. They all felt things. They were all frustrated with the way the society went. Because, I see this a lot in the people nowadays, that there are this difference between us that I don't think are so big, these differences that we think everyone should be divided by their jobs and their money and all these things that really don't matter. What matters is what you have inside and what you have to say. And so that's why it's so important to have a world that is yours, and that you have things to say to the world and things to bring in. And as musicians, it's so beautiful when this happens to us, and it has happened to me. And especially, after this concert, that at the beginning, I have to say that I was a bit afraid, because being such a big event, either for the musicians or for the people that don't know music and they were just part of the audience, because for 3 hours listening to 5 concerts, people usually listen to one concert per night, not to 5 concerts. So it was a really big thing. It was a challenge, either for me, for the director, for the orchestra, and for the audience. But the thing that I really appreciated is that everyone was so silent, and everyone was so keen on listening to the things that were happening, and to take all of that experience in, because they knew that after 3 hours it passes and they go home, and then there's another day and another one. And after, I saw people during the standing ovations that were crying, because it was such a liberating experience for everyone. Me, myself, if I have to be honest, started crying while I was on stage. And so I went back. Quickly, because I wanted to take a moment to breathe in everything that I just did. And I really felt, this divine light that entered me in that night, and that guided me through those 3 hours. Because in those 3 hours of playing as an artist, you need a lot of things. You need also the physical strength, the mental strength, not forgetting, having a really good memory, having a good moment, because you need a really good energy also from yourself and from the audience. And so that's why I was so grateful to the people that came, because I knew and I felt it, that those people that were there in that night actually understood what I tried to say. And so it's the most liberating feeling for an artist, feeling that you were actually understood. Yeah.
And apart from your amazing energy on stage and everything, you looked gorgeous. The dress that you wore,
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. So you are also conscious of that what you dress. And I saw some photo shoots that you did as well. You are really, aware of the aesthetics and how you dress and how you present yourself.
I mean, it's all an act. And I always say that, from the beginning to the end, an artist needs to know how to behave on stage and what to do. Because, what I think of and what I will try to give to my future students when I'll become a professor, because I'm sure that one day it will happen. And I'm very looking forward to give these things that I was taught to the future generations, because it's so important. And since you are in your room preparing for a concert, and then you enter from backstage, that's the beginning of the process, because you need your energy, you need your posture. Then you enter the stage, you need a certain way of welcoming the audience, you need a certain way of bowing, of taking all the whole in, of smiling to the orchestra, giving hands with the concert master and the conductor. It's all an act. Every single gesture matters. How you wait for your part, how you look at the orchestra, how you behave. So you can't let your guard down in any moment, because it's so important to make people understand that what you're doing is an act, and it's an act that has to bring beauty. And so you can't just bring the beauty while you play and then act as if you are a normal person, because you're not. That's something that has to bring music live to the world. And that's why it's so important. And especially live music is so important nowadays. I just saw in cinemas the Yellow Tie movie that they did about the life of Sergiu Celibidache, our greatest Romanian conductor and one of the greatest conductors in the world. And his son did this movie. And so it's amazing to think that, of course, he was the best person to be doing a movie about his father, and he was such an important person for the evolution of music. And I saw there this, this thing that he always said. He was so angry about people recording concerts and people putting his concerts on videotapes or on CDs, because he said that the best thing that we have as artists is live music, because the things that you are feeling live when you are at a show or at a music concert is unique. You don't have the same things when you listen to a recording on YouTube. Of course, you can like it and it can move you, but the things that move you the most are the concerts that are live, because you see that those people in your eyes and you see them doing those things. It's not that you just know that they recorded it before. You just see it with your eyes, and so it's so beautiful that we have this thing as artists to be receptors of art while live. Yeah,
that's true. There's an energy in a concert or in the opera that you cannot get through a screen.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so beautiful that we still have this, and I'm really hoping that also for the future people will continue to be open to beauty and will continue to pay tickets to go to concerts and to the theater and to the ballet, because it's the only thing that we have as a society to keep on going and to be happy and to have beauty in our souls. Because if we don't have this, if we don't have art and things that make us happy, we become robots and we forget that the thing that makes us humans is having the effective aspect in our life that no one else can have, no other machine, nothing, because affection is something that only us humans have, and being receptors to beauty and being sensitive to beauty is only ours.
That's true. Yeah. Miruna, you talked about so many wonderful things and so much depth that you have as an artist. And you also talked about the things that you wanted to do, playing composers' music that's not often heard. But what is the big dream for you, or what are your wishes for the future?
I see many artists, in interviews that say, I want to play with that philharmonic, I want to get there. I wouldn't say that's my dream, because those things, I understand the fact that being 20 means that I'm already on that way, and means that some way these things will arrive into my life, because this is what I'm doing and something great has to happen. So I'm not scared about the future or of, I don't know, not reaching greatness, because that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is finding that place and those people that understand what I'm doing and that I know that I bring beauty into their lives. And that's why I'm really happy, at least for now, for these years of my life, doing my studies in Venice, because in Venice I found a place that really understands me. And for the first time in my life, I felt accepted for the artist that I am and for the person that I am. That is so essential, to feel understood and to have a place that you can grow in. And I found so many amazing people that took care of me and that made sure that I never felt alone, because, I'm a student. I left my house, I left my family to come to study. So it wasn't easy, but I never felt alone. And so this is the beginning. And I know that Venice, I don't know if I'll remain here all my life, perhaps not. But what I know is that it will always be a place that I will have in my heart. And, having Maestro Cognolato as my professor is so amazing, because he just took on everything that I had done before and he just makes me grow more and more. And every lesson with him, I feel that I'm deeper into the things that I'm doing. I'm understanding more. I have more profoundness into my soul. And so I don't know what the future has to bring, but what I have is the curiosity. So I think that's pretty great. And my dream is to do a bit of everything, because I don't want to only play on stage as a soloist. I want to also play a piano recital and a concert with an orchestra and chamber music and trios and quartets. And I want to be a pedagogue myself. I want to teach at some point of my life. I want to teach either kids or students in an academic um, place. So I want to do a bit of everything. I want to continue on writing. I want to continue on learning. I want to go to concerts and be part of the audience instead of being part of the soloist and the yeah. So I think this is my plan, to continue on being happy and to not have too big expectations, because I think this is the mistake that many people go into life with. We just have these expectations. We say, I'm the greatest, I have to arrive there. No, I don't think it's like that, because we really don't know what is going to happen. Many people thought that they will be excellent in a job, and then they discovered another job and they realized that it was not
Exactly.
that thing that they had to do. So we are really not certain about the future. We are not even certain about the next day. So what we can do is appreciate every day with the things that we have in our soul, and to be constantly open to the things that life can bring us, because I'm trying to be open to everything, not to say this is my thing that I'm trying to do and no one can stop me from it, because I never know what is going to happen. And so it's a shame not being open and say, I'm just letting myself be free and we'll see what life has to bring. And I'm sure that life will bring beauty and concerts and things that I will learn from, because, as an artist, you need to suffer. And as a human, you need to suffer so that you understand how important it is to be proud when you're happy and to appreciate when you're
Exactly.
happy, because if you don't suffer, you don't understand the happiness. So yeah, I think this is my perception of life until now, and I hope that it will continue to be like this, and I hope that it will be in my soul for all my life as an artist.
That's wonderful. And that's so true, because if you always have this end goal or this specific thing that you want to do, you miss all the other opportunities around you, and you are just so narrow-minded looking into things. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
What beautiful wishes that, and that you want to achieve. Well, not achieve, but that you look at life that way, that you want to take all the opportunities that come your way. And it is like that, you never know how what comes up in 2 years' time, or 5 years' time. You never know. Some things I would never have imagined living in Vienna from South Africa. So these things happen,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I followed a lot of your interviews and your story, and I think, you had the same story going on. You just arrived into a place and you did beautiful things and you discovered new things that make you happy and proud of your life. So it's really inspirational for many people to understand that you don't need that goal and that thing, that if you don't get that something, you're not happy. You just need that openness to understand that in your life you meet new people every day, and that's really beautiful, because everyone teaches you something, even if it's someone that you like or not. That's what people don't understand, that everyone has something to teach you, and the role, they are brought into your life with a reason, that you learn something about yourself, because maybe you have a bad behavior and someone comes into your life, and at first you are frustrated with that encounter, but then you realize that there was a reason behind it, and that you had to change something so that you could continue to learn and to go forward. So it's so important to be open and to realize that, the world is so big and there are so many people with a story. That's what we need, to be people with a story, not just living every day just like that and not having anything to say. Every day you need to learn something new. Every day I'm trying to read something, or a quote, or something from a book, or I don't know, any event or any fun fact. I just need something. It's in my spiritual need to understand something more every day.
No, I totally agree. I read once that people come in your life as either a mirror or a lesson. And I think it's true, that it's either to see yourself or to
exactly.
learn
I
from
also
them.
read
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's so beautiful when we think about it, and I think this is what helps us stay and be better with ourselves. Because instead of living a life full of frustrations and full of tensions that you want to be the best and you want to prove to people that you're the best, it's better to take everyone that comes into your life and to say, let's see how much I can walk with this person on my street and on my path. Because at some point, maybe we go on different paths. Maybe it might be the person that I spend all my life with. So you never know. That's
Exactly.
what's beautiful, that you are keen to learn from that person, and that you are keen to have the same journey until a certain point. Yeah.
No, that's absolutely true. Miruna, this is so great to talk to you. Such a lovely interview. I'm so grateful to
Thank you so
Igor
much for this opportunity, and I'm so happy that I met you, and for this interview, and that Maestro Cognolato put us in contact.
Yes, absolutely.